The scar down my chest saved a boy who tried to destroy me. But on that Tuesday afternoon at Westfield Academy, neither of us knew we were already connected by blood, loss, and a heart that refused to stop beating. I still remember the sound of fabric tearing, not a clean rip like paper, but that awful stretching sound that cotton makes when it's pulled too hard, fibers snapping one by one until there's nothing left to hold. Sometimes I wake up hearing it, my hand instinctively reaching for my chest, checking that I'm covered, that I'm safe. But I'm getting ahead of myself. To understand why Ethan Mitchell ended up sobbing on his knees in front of the entire school board, why his tears fell onto legal documents that could have destroyed his future. You need to know about the morning I first walked onto those perfect tennis courts at Westfield Academy. It was early April, one of those Massachusetts mornings where winter hadn't quite given up its grip. I'd been up since 4:30, my usual time. Not because I'm naturally a morning person, but because that's when I take my first round of anti-rejection medications, 14 pills, sorted into a weekly container that looks like something my grandmother would use. Each compartment labeled, each dose critical. Miss one, and my body might start attacking the foreign organ that keeps me alive. My father was already in the kitchen when I came downstairs, his reading glasses perched on his nose as he reviewed some brief. Robert Peterson didn't just practice law, he lived it, breathed it, probably dreamed in legal precedents. That morning, though, he looked up from his papers when I entered. Big day, Hannah Bear. Before we dive into this story, I want to thank you for being here. If this video touches your heart, please hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next stories. And if you'd like to support me in continuing to share these inspiring stories, the thanks button below is always there for your kindness. Now, let's discover this special story together. I nodded, pouring orange juice to help the pills go down. The tang always reminded me of hospital corridors, of the months after surgery when everything tasted like metal and fear. "Dad," I said, swallowing the last pill, "please don't mention the lawyer thing at school. I just want to be normal for once." He folded his glasses carefully, a gesture I recognized as his thinking pose. Normal is overrated, but I understand. No legal talk, no mentioning my practice, no threatening to sue anyone who looks at you wrong. "Dad, I'm kidding, mostly." He stood, straightening his tie. "You sure you don't want me to drive you?" "I'm sure." I touched my chest unconsciously, feeling the raised ridge of scar tissue through my shirt. I need to do this myself. The truth was, I needed those 40 minutes on the school bus to prepare. To practice being Hannah Peterson, new girl, tennis player, totally normal 16-year-old. Not Hannah Peterson, heart transplant recipient. Not Hannah Peterson, girl living on borrowed time with borrowed organs. Just Hannah. I dressed carefully that morning, choosing my loosest Nike tennis shirt, the one that hung off my shoulders and never clung to my chest. Under it, I wore a compression tank, partly for support, partly for coverage. The scar wasn't ugly, at least. That's what my therapist kept telling me. It was a lifeline, a mark of survival. But try explaining that to teenagers who think a zit is a catastrophe. The bus ride passed in a blur of suburban landscapes and anxiety. I pressed my hand against my jacket pocket, feeling the letter there, Lily's letter. I'd been carrying it for 2 years, ever since the transplant coordinator gave it to me. The donor family had wanted to remain anonymous, but they'd written one letter, just one. "To whoever receives this gift," it began, Our daughter Lily loved tennis more than anything. She was trying to make varsity when, if you can, please play. Play for her. Make the shots she'll never make. Win the games she'll never win. Let her live through you. It was signed simply, the M family. Westfield Academy loomed ahead, all red brick and white columns, looking more like a small college than a high school. The tennis courts were visible from the main road, 8 perfect hard courts with fresh nets that probably cost more than most people's cars. This place took its tennis seriously. The trophy case in the main hallway proved that state championships going back decades. Photos of players who'd gone on to Division I schools, even a few professionals. I'd seen those trophies during my tour. I'd also seen something else, a memorial plaque for Lily Mitchell. Dated 2 years ago. Forever young, forever loved, forever part of our team. At the time, I'd thought it was sad, but hadn't made the connection. Mitchell was a common enough name. The M family could have been anyone. Coach Jennifer Wilson met me at the courts, her whistle on its rainbow lanyard catching the morning sun. She was younger than I'd expected, maybe early 30s, with the kind of tan that comes from living on tennis courts. "Hannah Peterson," she said, checking her clipboard. "Transfer from Boston Medical Academy." It wasn't really a school, more of a program for kids who'd missed too much regular school due to illness. But I didn't correct her. "Your transcripts say you played JV there." "Yes, ma'am." Another half-truth. I'd played when I could. Between appointments and treatments and days when standing made me dizzy. "Well, we'll see what you've got. Practice starts in an hour. But I wanted to meet you first. Private tryout. See where you fit." So she studied me with coach eyes, noting my stance, my grip on my racket bag. "You know, we had a player pass away 2 years ago. My heart, Lily's heart, skipped a beat. I saw the memorial. Good kid. Would have made varsity that year. Definitely. Maybe even captain eventually." Coach Wilson's voice carried old grief. "Her brother's our current captain, Ethan Mitchell. He's protective of her memory and of the team. Just be aware." I wanted to ask more, but other players were arriving. Not the full team, just a few early birds warming up. One of them, a tall boy with sandy hair and broad shoulders, was practicing serves on court 1. The power behind each serve was intimidating, the ball hitting with a crack that echoed off the buildings. This had to be Ethan Mitchell. He must have felt me watching because he turned, his gaze landing on me with the weight of assessment. Even from across the courts, I could see him cataloging new girl, decent equipment, nervous stance, threat or irrelevant. His expression suggested he was leaning toward irrelevant. The next hour changed that assessment. Coach Wilson ran me through the pace's ground strokes, volleys, serves, movement drills. I'd been practicing all winter at the indoor courts near the hospital, pushing myself harder than my doctors would have liked. Every ball I hit was for Lily, for the promise I'd made to a dead girl I'd never met, but whose heart beat in my chest. I was good. Better than good. 2 years of gratitude and determination had transformed me from a decent player into someone who could compete. The coach's eyebrows rose with each drill. Other players stopped their warm-ups to watch, including Ethan. By the time coach called me over, a small crowd had gathered. I recognized some faces from my classes. Olivia Carter, whose mother was supposedly some big-shot judge, Marcus Thompson, who seemed to film everything on his phone. A few others whose names I didn't know yet. "Well," Coach Wilson said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "looks like we've got ourselves a new varsity player. Welcome to the team, Peterson." The silence that followed was heavy. I'd upset some hierarchy, crossed some invisible line. In the periphery of my vision, I saw Ethan's hands clench around his racket. "Practice starts in 30. Coach continued. "Get changed. Get ready. Mitchell, you're running drills today." "Coach," Ethan's voice was steady but tight, "don't we usually vote on new varsity players? We vote on moving JV players up. Peterson here just demonstrated varsity-level skills. My decision." Her tone brooked no argument, but I could feel the tension ratcheting up. The locker room was empty when I entered, which was both a relief and a warning. I changed quickly, carefully, making sure my compression tank was hidden under my tennis shirt. The mirror showed nothing unusual, just another teenage girl in tennis whites. You couldn't see the scar. You couldn't see the twice-daily medications. You couldn't see the borrowed heart beating steadily in my chest. When I emerged, the full team had assembled. 24 players, evenly split between boys and girls. Though the varsity squad was predominantly male, Westfield Academy might have had progressive policies on paper, but tradition died hard on the tennis courts. Ethan called us to order with the kind of natural authority that comes from years of being the golden boy, up close. I could see the resemblance to the girl in the memorial photo, same strong jaw, same hazel eyes. But where Lily's photo showed joy, Ethan's face was all business. "Listen up. We've got states in 6 weeks. Princeton's scout is coming to our match against Brookline." His gaze landed on me. "That means no weak links. Everyone pulls their weight, or they're off the court." "Clear." Murmurs of agreement. I nodded along, trying to blend in. "Good. Thompson, you're filming today for recruitment videos. Standard drills to start. Pair up." Everyone moved with practiced efficiency, finding their usual partners. I stood alone for a moment before Olivia Carter approached. "I'll hit with you," she offered, not quite meeting my eyes. "Fair warning, they're going to test you. It's kind of a tradition." "Test how?" She glanced at Ethan, who was setting up cones with Marcus. "Nothing officially sanctioned. Just be ready." The first hour was standard enough. Ground stroke drills, net play, serving practice. I held my own, even impressed a few doubters, but I could feel something building, like storm pressure before a thunderclap. Players kept glancing at Ethan, waiting for some signal. It came during water break. "Team bonding exercise," Ethan announced, his smile not reaching his eyes. "Tradition for new varsity players. Nothing too serious, just a little initiation." Coach Wilson was inside, taking a phone call. The timing wasn't coincidental. "What kind of initiation?" I asked, proud that my voice stayed steady. "Shirt check," Marcus said, camera still rolling. "Make sure you're not hiding any performance enhancers. Team policy." It was absurd, insulting, probably illegal. But I was surrounded by players who'd been together for years, who'd protect each other over an outsider. The assistant coach was conveniently busy with the JV players on the far courts. "That's not a real policy," I said. "Sure it is." Ethan stepped closer. "Right. Team, agreements all around. Nervous laughter from some, eager anticipation from others. Mob mentality in tennis whites." "I'm not doing this," I said, backing toward the building. "Then you're not varsity material," Ethan's voice carried across the courts. "Can't be part of the team if you've got something to hide." I should have kept walking. Should have reported it immediately. Should have called my father and let him rain legal hell down on this place. But I was 16 and desperate to belong somewhere, to be more than the sick girl, the transplant girl, The girl living on borrowed time. Fine, I heard myself say. But this is harassment. It's tradition, Ethan countered. He was close enough now that I could see something flickering behind the bravado pain. Maybe, or anger that had nothing to do with me. Unless you've got something to hide. The team had formed a loose circle, not quite trapping me, but making it clear that leaving would be seen as weakness. Marcus kept filming, probably thinking he was capturing harmless team bonding. What happened next took less than 10 seconds, but I can still see it in slow motion. Ethan reached for my shirt, saying something about checking the label. I twisted away, but 2 other players blocked my path. His hand caught the fabric near my collar. I pulled back. He pulled harder. The sound of tearing fabric cut through the laughter. My shirt split from collar to mid-chest. The compression tank underneath suddenly visible. But that wasn't what made everyone gasp. It was the scar, the zipper-like line of raised tissue that ran from just below my throat to beneath the tank's neckline. The unmistakable mark of open-heart surgery. The silence was deafening. I stood there, exposed in every sense of the word, my hands clutching the torn fabric. The medical alert bracelet on my wrist caught the sun. The engraving clearly visible, heart transplant patient. Ethan's face had gone white. His hand still held a piece of my shirt. Trembling now. Behind him, Marcus's camera captured everything: the scar, the shock, the sudden shift from predator to something else entirely. Ethan started, but no words came. Olivia broke the spell, shrugging off her warm-up jacket and wrapping it around my shoulders. "Get Coach Wilson," she ordered someone. Now, but I was already moving, running toward the building. Tears I'd held back for 2 years finally breaking free. Not because they'd torn my shirt or exposed my scar, but because, for just a moment, when Ethan's eyes met mine, I'd seen recognition. Not of me, but of something in that scar. In what it represented. He knew. Somehow, he knew. I made it to the bathroom before completely breaking down. Olivia's jacket still clutched around me. In the mirror. The scar was livid against my pale skin. Each stitch mark a reminder of the night I'd almost died. The night another girl did die. The night our fates became forever intertwined. My phone buzzed. A text from my father. "How's the first day going, Hannah Bear?" I couldn't answer. Couldn't find words for what had just happened. Outside, I could hear shouting Coach Wilson's voice, sharp with authority and anger, the sound of players scattering. The particular quality of panic that comes when adults realize exactly how badly teenagers have screwed up. But all I could think about was Ethan's face in that moment of recognition. The way his eyes had tracked the scar's path. The way his hand had dropped the torn fabric, like it burned. Later, I would learn that Lily Mitchell had the same rare blood type as me. That she'd died in a car accident 2 miles from the hospital where I was dying of heart failure. That her parents had made the decision to donate her organs in the ambulance, knowing their daughter would have wanted to save lives. Later, I would discover that Ethan had been in that car. That he'd walked away without a scratch while his sister died. That he'd spent 2 years wondering who received her heart. Whether they deserved it, whether they were living the life she should have had. Later, there would be lawyers and meetings, and a school board hearing that made the local news. But in that moment, sitting on the bathroom floor with Olivia Carter standing guard outside, all I knew was that I'd been marked, not just by the scar, but by the weight of living for 2 people. And somewhere on those perfect tennis courts, a boy was beginning to realize that he'd just tried to destroy the one person keeping his sister's heart beating. The bathroom door opened. Coach Wilson's voice was gentle but firm. "Hannah, I need you to come with me. Your father is on his way." I stood on shaky legs, adjusting Olivia's jacket. "Am I in trouble?" "No, sweetheart, you're not in trouble." Her voice was steel wrapped in velvet. "But some others are about to be." As I followed her out, I could see through the window that the tennis courts had been cleared. Only one person remained, sitting on the bench where it had all happened. Ethan Mitchell, still holding the piece of my shirt, staring at it like it might hold answers to questions he couldn't voice. I wouldn't speak to him again for 3 weeks. But when I finally did, when the truth came out in that law office conference room, we would both cry for the girl whose heart had brought us together in the worst possible way. We would cry for Lily, who'd wanted nothing more than to make varsity tennis, and we would cry for ourselves, 2 broken teenagers trying to carry the weight of a gift neither had asked for. But that was still to come. First, there would be the video going viral, the school's desperate attempts at damage control. The moment my father walked into that building looking like controlled fury in a 3-piece suit, the beginning of a legal battle that would change everything. And through it all, Lily's heart kept beating in my chest, steady and strong, as if she knew her story wasn't over yet. The video had 17 million views by the time I finally agreed to watch it. 3 weeks had passed since that Tuesday on the tennis courts. 3 weeks of depositions, emergency school board meetings, and reporters camping outside our house. 3 weeks of my father transforming from dad into Attorney Peterson, building a case that had Westfield Academy's lawyers sweating through their Brooks Brothers suits. But I hadn't watched the video. Not once. "You need to see it," Marcus Thompson said, sitting across from me in our living room. He looked different than the last time I'd seen him, smaller somehow, like guilt had physically diminished him. "Not just the assault. There's more." My father sat beside me, legal pad ready. We'd been preparing for the preliminary hearing, but Marcus had called that morning, insisting he had evidence that would change everything. "Play it," I said, gripping my mug of tea so tight I thought it might crack. Marcus's phone screen came to life. There I was, walking onto the court, hope written across my face like a promise I couldn't keep. The camera was steady. Marcus had expensive equipment, dreams of being a filmmaker. Every detail was crystal clear. "I started recording early," he explained, "for Ethan's recruitment video, but I kept it rolling during breaks. I record everything. It's legal in Massachusetts, one-party consent." On screen, Ethan huddled with 3 other players. The audio was perfect. "She's got to go," Ethan's voice, clear as day. "I don't care how. She's not taking a varsity spot. Not with the Princeton scout coming." "Dude, she's good though," another player said. "I don't care if she's Serena fucking Williams. We're doing the shirt thing. Make it look spontaneous." My father paused the video, making notes. "Premeditation. Conspiracy. This changes the assault charge from simple to aggravated." But Marcus wasn't done. He pulled up another file. "This is from 2 weeks before you arrived. Team meeting." Different video. Ethan at the front of the locker room, the Lily Mitchell Memorial Trophy visible behind him. "States is ours this year," he was saying. "For Lily. No distractions. No new players who don't understand what this means. This team is sacred. It's all we have left of—" His voice cracked. "Just no outsiders. Not this year." He was protecting her memory, I said quietly. He thought I was replacing her. Marcus nodded miserably. There's one more thing. After it happened. After you ran. He said something. I don't think he knew I was still recording. The final video was shaky, catching the aftermath. Players scattered, Coach Wilson shouting, and Ethan sitting on the ground, staring at his hands. The scar, he whispered. Oh God, that scar. It's just like… The video cut off. Like what? My father asked. Marcus shrugged. He never finished. But Hannah, he looked destroyed. Not angry anymore, just broken. That night, I lay in bed thinking about broken things, about hearts that stop working and ones that keep beating in the wrong chests, about boys who carry guilt like armor and girls who hide their scars like shame. I pulled out Lily's letter, reading it for the 1,000th time. The next morning changed everything. My mother rarely cried. Linda Peterson had been an ICU nurse for 20 years. She'd seen too much to break easily. But that morning, she was sobbing at the kitchen table. My medical files spread before her. Mom! I rushed to her side. What's wrong? Am I rejecting? Are my numbers? No, baby. She looked up, tears streaming. I know who your donor was. I should have realized. The timing, the blood type, the age. My heart, not mine, never mine, thundered in my chest. Who? Lily Mitchell. I was her nurse. She came in on April 15th, 2 years ago. Car accident on Route 9. Her brother was driving. She gripped my hands. Hannah, you're alive because of Ethan Mitchell's sister. The world tilted. I thought about Ethan's face when he saw my scar, the recognition I'd glimpsed. He knew. Somehow. He knew. We have to tell them, I said. No. My father's voice from the doorway was firm. This information is confidential. HIPAA laws. Dad, please. I stood. Decision crystallizing. He tried to hurt me because he's hurting, because he lost her. They deserve to know she saved me. The legal proceedings were supposed to be straightforward. The video evidence was damning. The school's zero-tolerance policy was clear. Ethan faced expulsion, criminal charges, and the loss of his Princeton scholarship. The other players involved faced lesser but still serious consequences. The hearing was scheduled for Friday morning. Thursday night, I made my choice. I want to meet with them, I told my father. The Mitchell family, before the hearing. Absolutely not. You're the victim here. You don't owe them. I owe them everything. I touched my chest, feeling the steady rhythm beneath. Dad, I'm alive because they lost their daughter, please. He agreed, reluctantly. The meeting was arranged for that evening at his law office. Neutral ground, he insisted. Security present, he demanded. The Mitchells arrived looking like grief had aged them a decade in 2 years. Ethan's mother had the same hazel eyes as her children, now rimmed with red. His father stood protective, wary. Ethan himself looked hollow, like someone had scooped out everything that mattered and left only the shell. We sat across a conference table that suddenly seemed as vast as an ocean. Thank you for coming, I began. Our lawyer advised against this, Mr. Mitchell said stiffly. Mine too. I managed a small smile. Lawyers. Right. Nobody laughed. Your son hurt me, I continued. Humiliated me. Exposed something I've worked hard to keep private. And I have every right to press charges, to take this as far as the law allows. Ethan flinched with each word. His mother reached for his hand. "But I need you to know something first." I pulled out a folder, hands trembling. "This is my medical record from April 15th, 2 years ago. I was dying, multiple organ failure, hours left at most. Then, at 11:47 p.m., they told us a heart had become available. A perfect match." Mrs. Mitchell's breathing hitched. She knew that time, the exact moment they'd made the decision. "The donation was anonymous," I continued. "But there was a letter. May I read it?" They nodded, unable to speak. "To whoever receives this gift." I read, my voice steady despite the tears. "Our daughter Lily loved tennis more than anything. She was trying to make varsity when, if you can, please play for her. Make the shots she'll never make. Win the games she'll never win. Let her live through you." The silence was deafening. Then, a sound I'll never forget, Ethan Mitchell breaking completely apart. "It's you," he choked out. She's, oh God. I tried to hurt the person who—" He couldn't finish. Doubling over like physical pain had grabbed him. His mother was crying now too. Reaching across the table. May I listen?" I knew what she meant. I moved around the table, kneeling beside her chair. She placed her hand on my chest, feeling for the heartbeat she'd kissed goodnight for 14 years. "Strong," she whispered. "Still so strong." "She saved me," I said simply. "And I've tried every day to deserve it. That's why I play tennis, for her. To keep my promise." Ethan looked up then, eyes red and raw. "I was driving. Did you know that I was driving the car when she died?" "Ethan, no," his father said sharply. "The other driver ran the red light. It wasn't—" "I was driving," Ethan repeated. "She wanted to go to the movies. I said no. Let's go to the party instead. If I'd just gone to the movies," he looked at me desperately. "I killed her. And then I tried to destroy the one good thing that came from it. I tried to destroy you." "Oh, you didn't kill her," I said firmly. "And you didn't destroy me. But Ethan, you hurt me. And that has to have consequences." "I know." He straightened, seeming to age years in that moment. "I'll plead guilty. Whatever the charges. I'll leave Westfield. I don't want revenge." I interrupted. "I want change." My father slid a document across the table. "We're proposing a consent decree. Restorative justice rather than purely punitive measures." Mr. Mitchell, also a lawyer, began reading. His eyebrows rose with each page. "Community service focused on anti-bullying education," my father explained. "Mandatory policy changes at Westfield including stronger Title IX enforcement. A scholarship fund in Lily's name for student athletes who've overcome medical challenges. And yes, Ethan will need to forfeit his captain position and accept a suspension. But no criminal record, no destroyed future." "Why," Mrs. Mitchell asked. "After what he did." "Because Lily saved my life," I said. "The least I can do is not destroy her brothers, but more than that, because this can't just be about punishment. It has to be about change. Real change." Ethan was crying again, but differently now. "I'll do anything. Speak at every school in the state. Tell everyone what I did. Why it was wrong. "You'll start with Westfield," I said. "Monday morning assembly. You'll tell them everything. The video will have already gone viral by then. Marcus is releasing it tonight with our permission. But they need to hear it from you, all of it. Even about—" he gestured between us. "Especially that. Because maybe if people understand how connected we all are, how a single moment of cruelty can ripple out in ways we never imagine, maybe they'll think twice. The lawyers took over then, hammering out details. But something had shifted in that room. The Mitchells weren't the enemy anymore. They were co-survivors of a tragedy that had broken all of us in different ways, as we prepared to leave. Mrs. Mitchell hugged me tight. "Thank you for keeping her alive," she whispered. "Thank you for letting her save me," I whispered back. Monday's assembly was standing room only. Word had spread about the video, the lawsuit, the mysterious connection between victim and bully. Local news crews waited outside. Ethan stood at the podium looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. No teammates flanking him now. Just a boy carrying the weight of his choices. 2 years ago, my sister died, he began, voice cracking but determined. And I've been angry every day since. Angry at the world, at God, at myself. Last month, I took that anger out on someone who didn't deserve it. I hurt Hannah Peterson because she was good at tennis, because she threatened my position, because I was afraid of losing the one thing I thought I had left of my sister. He paused, scanning the crowd until he found me. What I didn't know was that Hannah only plays tennis because of Lily, because my sister's heart beats in her chest, because even in death, Lily found a way to keep living, keep playing, keep inspiring. Gasps rippled through the auditorium. Someone was crying. I realized it was Marcus, filming even through his tears. I assaulted someone. I conspired with others to humiliate a fellow student. There's no excuse for that, no justification. But I want you to understand. His voice broke completely. I want you to understand that when we hurt others, we never know the full weight of what we're destroying. I tried to tear down the girl who carries my sister's heart. I almost destroyed the living proof that even in our darkest moments, beauty and hope can survive. He went on for 20 minutes, detailing the assault, the planning, the toxic culture that made it seem acceptable. He named names, including his own, repeatedly. He announced his resignation as captain, his acceptance of suspension, his commitment to spending the rest of his senior year speaking at schools about bullying and its true cost. But this isn't just about me, he concluded. It's about all of us. Every time we stand by while someone is hurt. Every time we laugh along to fit in. Every time we choose cruelty over kindness because it's easier. Because it's tradition. Because everyone else is doing it. We're all guilty, and we all have the power to change. He left the podium to dead silence. Then, slowly, applause began. Not celebration, something more like acknowledgement, recognition. I found him after, sitting alone outside the gym. Princeton had officially withdrawn their scholarship offer that morning. "I'm sorry," I said, sitting beside him. "Don't." He managed a weak smile. "It's what should happen. Consequences. Right. Still, I know what that scholarship meant. It meant everything." He admitted. "But you know what? So did Lily, and I lost sight of that. I turned her memory into an excuse for being cruel. That's worse than losing Princeton." We sat in silence for a moment. Then he asked, "What's it like knowing someone else's heart is keeping you alive?" "Heavy," I said honestly. "Like every beat is a responsibility. Every day is a gift I need to earn." "Do you ever feel her like? Is any part of her still—" "I don't know," I admitted. Sometimes, when I play tennis, when I hit a perfect serve, I wonder if that's her muscle memory. If somewhere in the cellular level, she's still there, but mostly I think she lives in the choices I make, the life I choose to live, because she can't. I miss her every day. I thank her every day. He nodded. Understanding passing between us. We're going to be okay. Aren't we, all of us? Yeah, I said, believing it. We are. The rest of the school year passed in a blur of changes. Westfield implemented new policies, mandatory training, stronger oversight. The video of Ethan's speech went even more viral than the assault video, sparking national conversations about bullying, forgiveness, and the unexpected ways we're all connected. Marcus became an advocate for bystander intervention, using his platform as a filmmaker to document stories of reconciliation. He and Ethan started a nonprofit focused on restorative justice in schools. Olivia used her mother's legal connections to push for stronger anti-bullying legislation at the state level. The Lily Mitchell Act passed unanimously the following spring. Coach Wilson restructured the entire tennis program, bringing in experts on team building and inclusive leadership. The trophy case now included a photo of Lily and me together, photoshopped but powerful. Two girls who never met, but shared everything. And Ethan. He spent his senior year traveling to schools across New England, telling our story. He gave up tennis completely, saying it hurt too much to play without anger driving him. Instead, he coached youth programs in underserved communities, teaching kids that strength wasn't about dominating others, but lifting them up. The day I graduated from Westfield, making varsity captain in my senior year, the Mitchells were in the audience after the ceremony. Mrs. Mitchell pulled me aside. "We're organizing a donor awareness event," she said. "Would you consider speaking about Lily, about life after transplant?" "Of course," I said immediately. "And Hannah," she smiled through tears. "You made varsity. She would have been so proud." That night, I stood in front of my mirror, no longer hiding the scar. It had become part of my story, part of my strength. I thought about Ethan, starting community college in the fall, planning to become a counselor. About Marcus, heading to film school with a documentary about our story already in production. About Olivia, pre-law at Harvard, determined to fight injustice through the system. We'd all been broken by that day on the tennis courts, but sometimes breaking is just the first step to becoming something stronger, something better. Sometimes the worst moments of our lives plant seeds for the most important growth. I pressed my hand to my chest, feeling the steady rhythm there. "Thank you, Lily," I whispered, as I did every night. "For saving me, for teaching me, for showing all of us that even in darkness, hearts can still beat with purpose." Tomorrow, there would be new challenges, college applications that required explaining my medical history, tennis scholarships to compete for, a lifetime of anti-rejection medications and careful monitoring. The weight of living for two. But tonight, I was simply grateful for second chances, for the courage to choose healing over hatred, for the knowledge that sometimes the people who hurt us most are carrying wounds we can't see, and for Lily Mitchell, who gave me her heart in more ways than one, who proved that love and life can transcend death. That purpose can grow from pain, and that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's transformation. The scar would always be there. But now I knew it wasn't just a mark of survival. It was a map to becoming whole. 2 years later. I got a text from an unknown number, watching the tennis channel. You're amazing. E. I was at the NCAA Division Y Championships, representing Boston University. My match was being broadcast nationally as I stepped up to serve. I touched my chest, our pre-game ritual, Lily and me. The serve was perfect, an ace after my victory. I found them in the crowd, the Mitchells, Ethan, my parents, Marcus with his camera, Olivia in her Harvard Law sweatshirt, my chosen family, bound by the worst day that became our beginning. That night, Ethan and I finally talked, really talked, not about guilt or grief, but about futures. He was graduating with honors, accepted to graduate programs in clinical psychology. I want to help kids like us, he said. The angry ones. The broken ones. We weren't broken, I corrected, just healing in the wrong direction. He smiled a real smile, free of shadows. When did you get so wise? About 2 years after someone ripped my shirt and showed me that hiding scars gives them power over us. We'd come full circle. The heart that connected us still beat strong, carrying not just blood, but hope. Proof that the worst moments can become foundations for the best ones. Sometimes saving a life takes more than organ donation. Lily knew that. Now, finally, we did too.